I'm just briefly discussing some of the concepts so that you can start implementing in your code, and then we will go in detail in future classes. Okay, so if you remember, in first class, we were discussing this problem, circle problem. I will take this problem again. We were discussing this circle problem. We had center coordinate x and y and radius, and we were calculating few things. So we started with scripting style of programming, as in like we wrote all the executables line by line, and we saw that there were some problems. So some of the problems were your code was not modular. Okay, and if there was any change required, you had to go in this one monolithic code where you have implemented all your logic and then make some changes. Now if you make changes in such a big monolithic code, then there are chances that you can introduce some bugs. And if your code is modular, if it is in bits and pieces, if it is in chunks, it will be a lot easier to debug the code, lot easier to modify or extend the code. That is what something we learned. Also, when it was scripting style of programming, code reuse was not possible. Like when someone is trying to extend my code, they may not be able to reuse the code very easily. Okay, I mean there are ways like you can just extend the scripting style of coding also, but it was not that easy. So for that, then we created definition, we improvised, we created functions, so we improvised our code a bit. Okay, if you remember in our class for this circle problem, we were discussing few of the concepts, as in like r cannot be 0 or r cannot be less than 0. Okay, so few of the things you can you might have handled through if then else. Okay, similarly for this triangle problem, there was a suggestion on the chat group that we will also need to handle the sides of the triangle are not 0. Okay, the sides of the triangle should not be 0, something that we need to handle. Agreed, correct. So these are some of the things that you will need to handle. But if you handle this in if then else block, you will get a print message or something saying that this is not valid and something that way. But instead of printing a message, instead of giving a soft message to the user that you have not entered a value that is correct, let's throw an error. Let's throw an error saying that like, boss, whatever you have done is not correct. Okay, let's throw an error. Now in some of the scenarios, like if I do, one second, if I do some problem that we took in the morning, some 5 or a plus 5, if I run this, I'm getting error, right? I'm getting error. Why I'm getting error? Why not Python is saying that it is printing a statement for me saying that this operation is not valid or something? It is throwing some error to me. Okay, so sometimes these errors are actually good. You might think that when you are getting some error in your code, then that is a bad code or that is not correct. Okay, but that is not right statement. Sometimes these exceptions, these errors are good. These are sometimes blessing in disguise for you. Okay, I will just give a small analogy to make you uh, start feeling the need of these exceptions. Let's say as a person, if you get hurt, okay, maybe you just got wounded, fell from a bike or a bicycle or something, uh, you you bleed, right? You get cut, you bleed, you feel the pain, correct? Now if I mean, if God has made us, why he has given us this pain, feeling of this pain? If we get a cut, fine. Why this pain? Why this unnecessary pain that we get? Okay, so the reason behind that is, unless you get that pain, you will not get the remedy immediately. You will not uh, I mean, try to focus on that thing. So sometimes that pain is good, so that you take right action. Similarly, in programs, these exceptions, these errors are good. These exceptions and these errors are good. You will know that you need to take the right action. Okay, I hope that this simple analogy will help you to understand or visualize this scenario. Now we will handle some basic exceptions. So what we will be doing first, I will be introducing how to handle exceptions in your code. Okay, and then we will deep dive in future classes. So what are exceptions? First, some error which your code is making. Okay, there is some error which is there. Sometimes you will need to handle those errors, as in, like, in such scenarios what you need to do. Okay, and in some cases maybe you will just want to let user know that something bizarre they have done in the code. I mean, something bizarre has happened in the code and you want to throw it as an error or an exception. Okay, that is what you can think of from, like, exception or error, whatever. You can think of it as something that something is not correct. Okay, now to handle exception, I will be more discuss these things in detail, but for now I'm giving a simple example. So to handle exceptions, you do a try block. In this try block, within this try block, you write the code which you feel will raise an exception. Only put that piece of code where you feel that there are chances of exception or a error. Okay, and then there will be a except block. Okay, and within this except block you will say what to do when there is a exception. When there is no exception, do nothing. So nicely it will run all these code and it will never go in this except block. Okay, but in case of exception, it the moment the line or one particular executable had some error or some exception, from that particular line it will directly jump to this except block. So okay, let's take this try. I have action 1, action 2, action 3, action 4, and in except block I have action A, action B, action C. Okay, let's say exception is happening at this line. Here exception is raised. Okay, now if at this line exception is raised, action 3 and action 4 will not get executed. From here the execution will jump to action A. Okay, and then the rest of the lines will get executed. Clear?
Sir, can you explain once again?
Okay. So in try block, you will write some logic, some code. Okay. There are chances that in these code, there is some exception that occurred. So there in try block, I have action 1, action 2, action 3, action 4. Let's say the error or the exception happened at action 2. Action 3 and action 4 will not get executed. From action 2, the execution flow will jump to except block. It will go in this except block and then it will start executing action A, action B, and action C. Okay, let's take this through an example. Okay, let's take this through some simple examples. So if I say,
Sir, why it is going to the accept blocks?
because there is an exception, this is how the try and except block work. So when there is an exception, okay, let me explain through an example. Okay, let me explain through an example. Let's say I have written this code something this way: print 1, print 2, print 0, print 0 by 0, print 4, print 5. If I run this, what will be the output that I'm going to see on my screen? Please post from the group. What output I'm going to see?
Error.
Simply error, nothing else. See, execution in Python happens from top to down. Execution in Python happens from top to down. Okay. Now, first line print 1. Is there any exception, any error?
No, sir.
No, so it will print 1. Second line, is there any exception or error?
No.
It will print 2. Here, any exception?
No.
So it will print 0. This line, any exception?
Zero division error.
Zero division.
Zero
error.
division error.
So here you will get error. Okay. So this line execution will block. Now, will it go to this and execute?
No.
No. The moment exception occurred, the rest of the lines will never get executed. It will fail. That is how it works. Correct? Now, if I run this code, this is what I will get. 1, 2, 0. Then I got an exception, zero division error. After that, print 4 and 5 never got executed. Correct? Now, similarly, in exceptions, what will happen? Let me just simplify this code a bit. Okay. Now, if I run this, what will happen? The execution will again start from top to down. Print 1, there is no exception. So it will print 1. Print 0 by 0, zero division error. Now, here the execution will stop. Print 4 will not get executed. But because we have this try and except block, from here it will jump to this line of code. And it will print 99 and then it will print 8. So if I run this, this is what I'm going to get. Everyone understood this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there is a lot other things in exceptions that we will be discussing in our future classes. But for now, this is something basic that you need to understand. Like you will have a try block. Within that try block, you will have some executable that may fail, that may raise some kind of exception. And the moment they raise some exception, how to handle those exceptions, it depends on the software design, how you want to handle that exception, whether you want to give a soft message to the user saying the input entered by you is not correct, or there are scenarios where user might have entered a correct input but something happened, something failed, there is some kind of issues. Okay, multiple softwares, they will have errors, exceptions and bugs. Okay, so in those scenarios, how you want to handle it is the question. In those cases, we will use this try except, and then other things are also there, but basic is this is what. And now in all your code, you will need to use this exception blocks, as in like when I say that circle problem, if radius is less than 0, then it will not give you any error, right? But let's raise an exception. Okay, so you can simply say raise some exception name. Maybe for now you can give zero division error or something, like whatever exception name that you see, 0 by 0, same you can copy paste. Zero division error, same you can copy paste. For now, every time you use zero division error, that is also fine for me. But sometimes there will be exceptions that, or maybe just take that example. If you remember, uh, uh, yesterday's problem, we had this question, right? Calculate the average of students' marks. So the last student, student L, did not appear for any of the exams. All his marks were none. Correct? All his marks were none. And here there was a possibility that we will be getting zero division error. Correct? If you remember it. So here there was a chance that we could have got a zero division error, but we handled it through if then else block. Okay, but let's say I want to raise an exception, or I want that exception to occur. I want to notify the admin why this student has not appeared for any of the exams. I want exception. I want to throw an exception. That is not right. The student must have, or the student should have appeared for one of the exams. Something that way I need to handle, let's say. So in that scenario, let it be. Do not use if then else block. If appeared is greater than 0, then print this, or then simple, remove that if then else block. Let that error happen. And if that error is happening, if that error is raised, like use try block, if that error is raised, maybe in except block you say notify admin. Something like this you could have printed. Any questions?
So there is something called try catch throw block, right? So
No, try catch is coming from other programming languages. In Python we have.
I just want to know how to throw an error, system defined errors, because here we are handling and we are not showing the proper error messages for the developer purpose.
Come again.
See, throw will throw the actual error, right? And in the exception handling part.
No, those things we will cover in future classes, Lily. Don't worry about it. Let's I am like kind of handling this for the entire mass, right? So for everyone to understand, we will need to go a little slow in that sense, right? So let everyone be on the same page, and then we will be discussing all those things. Don't worry about it. Okay. Right now, just this is what I wanted to discuss. Try and except block. Wherever you feel that there are chances that exception can occur, enclose that in a try block. In case of exception, handle that in an except block. If for a given scenario, for example, I'm just giving one example. All this while we have been discussing like 0 by 0, which is a system defined. But let's say I can have some custom errors also. I'm just talking to everyone now. So let me complete. So if I'm talking about some custom exceptions, for example, let's say I'm building a website which will not allow you to log in on weekends. Let's say I'm starting a new office, and you are not allowed to log in on weekends. We want you to party on weekends. Let's say we don't want you to work. So in those scenarios, logging in on the weekend on that website is an exception for me. It's not a exception that is understood by the computers. It's an exception for me. The user tried to log in on weekends, I will be throwing an exception. In that scenario is what I'm saying, use this raise keyword. So whenever that condition is met, just say raise and use this zero division error. For now, everywhere where you want to raise an error, use zero division error. It's completely fine for now. Going forward, you can have more specific error and other things that you can raise, so that it will be more intuitive for the users, that they get the correct error message. That is also very necessary, right, for a good software design. So we will discuss about those things, but for now always say raise zero division error. That is what I'm saying here. Okay, always raise zero division error wherever you want to do it. Okay, let me take some other questions. Sir, I have one question. If the exception does not occur in try block, will the statement in the except block be executed? Very good question, Subhajyoti. So that is what I was discussing. If there is no exception in try block, except block will never get executed. Only in case of an exception in try block, except block will get executed, otherwise it will not. Okay, and also if there is an exception in try block, rest of the code below that exception line will not get executed. Okay, there are current try block will, okay, there is one more question from Lily, how to debug in shell line by line. Okay, very simple idea. When you want to debug your code, always add print statements. Okay, simple debugging process, add print statements. I mean, see, there are a lot of debugging. I mean, ideally I don't know how to do it on shell. Okay, mostly in Python IDEs which are there, like Spider or PyCharm, you have that flexibility of debugging, direct debugging kind of thing. But I am telling you, very 70 to 80% of the times, not 70, like 60 to 70% of the times, we debug through these print statements. To be honest, like, we never go in that debug mode. If we want to check the flow, if we want, like, what was the value of the variable at this location, at that point, after that execution of code, always use, like, whatever relevant messages you want, use these print statements in between the executables and run the code, see the print statement, understand the flow. If you want more detail, add more print statements, run the code, see the flow, see the variable values, see how it is happening, where, like, exception is occurring. Although, let's say here exception occurred, I don't know where exception occurred, I will just add print statements. So print one will get executed for sure. So I can be sure that, okay, till here there was no problem, something happened here. So to debug, use print statements. Okay, nothing more than that. And that is what, like, we had planned for this whole class. Like, we will be doing, like, whatever debugging you are doing, we will be doing it through print statements. Okay, sir. Okay, very, very good question from Subham Kumar Sahu. Sir, if there is an exception in except block, double question mark. Good question. If there is an exception in except block, then your code will go in another exception. You need to handle that as well in try except block. So you try your try except block, your error handling can be nested. Okay, if there is some exception here, again it will throw an error. So the way you handled something here in a try except, you will need to do the same within this except block. So that totally depends. It depends on the code, and we will see some of the examples. Yeah, 1 second. So we will see some examples where we will be dealing with such kind of scenarios. Like, I will be showing you some small snippets of code and everything to like, I will just execute them and I will run you through the all different scenarios and other things. Yeah, tell me. There was some questions, I believe. Hello. Yeah, you can post on the chat group. We are not able to hear you properly. If there is any questions. Okay. So I hope that this try except and exception handling is clear, and you also understood why to use exceptions. Okay, exceptions are actually good. They should be handled. There should not be unhandled exceptions, but there are scenarios where exceptions are good. Not only that, in most of the books, text, and other things, they will only talk about this exception handling. But sometimes exceptions are also used to make your code more clean. And we will discuss that through one example. I will be giving that as a problem in tomorrow's assignment, and then we will discuss how to make the code little bit more clean through exception handling. Okay. So again, like we will table that for tomorrow's session. The basic is this, like use try and except block and handle the exception. Okay, I think I had planned only this much for today, and I will be discussing more concept, or I will be going in more detail on these concepts tomorrow.